Hello everyone, and welcome to the very first episode, more of a tester episode, but the very first episode of Unmasking Issues, where we talk about movies and pop culture and how we can apply criminological and psychological issues to them. I am just Maddie, and in this episode we are talking about what is probably the biggest scandal of 2025, the Coldplay couple. So in case you haven't been on the internet since July, the Coldplay couple scandal started with the video of audience members being put on the Jumbotron at the Boston Coldplay concert. The camera falls on this pair, very clearly embracing, very clearly a couple, but once they realize that the camera is on them, they freak out. The man ducks out of frame of the camera and the woman turns and covers her face with her hands. An audience member by the name of Grace Springer happened to film it and post their reaction, and seemingly overnight it blew up. It was shared, parodied, memed. Hell, even comedian Josh Johnson did a bit about it 1 week later. But most importantly to our discussion, the people of the internet did some digging. Soon after the video was uploaded, the couple was identified as Andy Byron, CEO of billion-dollar AI company Astronomer, and Christian Cabot, the chief people officer, better known as the head of HR, of the very same company. And while Cabot has been divorced for 3 years, Byron was in fact married. Soon the internet found his wife's social media, and thankfully she had already deactivated her account. And there were so many reasons for the public to hate the Coldplay couple. Byron was cheating. They worked together as CEO and head of HR. Byron was a billionaire. They worked for an AI company. Even alleged ex-employees of Byron added that he was a horrible boss, and they did not lament the fact that he was caught doing something scandalous. While all this discourse was happening online, the couple faced real-world consequences. Both were suspended, and it has been confirmed that Byron had to resign, and while there's no official reports, it is safe to assume Cabot had to leave her job as well. Byron's wife also filed for divorce. We often forget that what happened with the Coldplay couple is not an uncommon thing. For celebrities, for rich people, or even the common person, the internet is always taking what they believe is justice into their own hands. This phenomenon falls into what we know as digital vigilantism. What exactly is digital vigilantism? It can cover a number of actions. Daniel Trotter, in his paper, Digital Vigilantism as Weaponized Visibility, defines digital vigilantism as, quote, a process where citizens are collectively offended by other citizen activity and coordinate retaliation on mobile devices and social platforms. Trotter goes on to compare traditional and digital vigilantism and basically concludes that digital vigilantism is a lot more broad because it allows you to connect with anyone, anywhere, at any time through the internet, while Batman is stuck in Gotham. If you know, you know. The inciting action can be almost anything. This is why digital vigilantism is really hard to identify. As Trotter explains, there's a difference between cyberbullying and digital vigilantism, despite there being very, very similar in action. The difference is morality of the persecutor. While cyberbullying's only goal is to harass and shame someone, bullying behaviors but through online, digital vigilantism is used when there is a belief by the general public that the person has done something to deserve the harassment, and can actually be a response to cyberbullying. So if the general public believes that that person needs to be brought to justice, then that is digital vigilantism, not cyberbullying. According to Professor Welsh, Assistant Dean at Wilfrid Laurier University, Brantford, digital vigilantism can be broken into 4 categories. First, there is flagging, which is low effort and often targets a behavior, not a specific person. Think leaving #Karen under a video of someone having Karen behaviors. It is not targeting that person as an individual, but simply calling out their behavior. Then there's organized leaking, which is directed at an organization, often a leak of official documents, not personal information. Again, it's not targeting an individual person, but the company. Then there is investigation, which is specifically targeted at someone with the intention of identifying them after they did something wrong. This is what happened to the Coldplay couple, which is a little interesting because Grace, the woman who filmed them, admitted in an interview that she would have never posted the video if the couple didn't react the way they did. In their attempts to hide themselves, they would have never been investigated. Then finally there is hounding, which is very similar to investigating. find out information on one specific person after committed a socially, morally transgression, I guess. But there's the addition of dogpiling, and there's the intention of the person facing consequences online or offline. This is where doxing comes in. Investigation and hounding both include doxing behaviors, but the use of doxing when hounding someone is to cause them harm and real-world consequences, while investigating is simply just trying to identify them. So like with the Coldplay couple, only information that was meant to identify why they reacted the way they did was used. Nothing about their address or anything like that was posted. And can we just say doxing has gotten way too out of hand? I heard of a girl who got doxed because she had the wrong hairstyle in Animal Crossing. The idea of doxing is also heavily looked at in Trotter's paper, where he goes over the idea of weaponization of visibility, how we don't realize how much of ourselves we put online because it is the social norm. But when the information is used against us, it's like it's almost too late. Think back to Gamergate, where female game developer Zoe Quinn was hacked and people got access to her address and credit card through her online orders and her birthday for websites that required age confirmation. We all expect privacy, but we don't realize how much we put online that dedicated people could dig up. I don't want to blame the victim. No one deserves to be doxxed, especially if it leads to violence outside of the internet, death threats, rape threats, things like that. Quinn was doxxed because she was simply a woman in a male-dominated field. However, giving out our information online has become so common that we don't think twice about its consequences that it could have. But that is what the internet does. It changes our expectation of privacy. Hugo Lord, a lawyer, talks about this in regards to the Coldplay couple, that the fact that they were in public at a concert means that anyone could have filmed them and posted it on the internet. And even though they faced backlash and real-world consequences, loss of income because they lost their jobs, they cannot sue Grace because it wasn't an invasion of their privacy. Because we all now carry smartphones with a camera and ability to communicate with anyone else with a smartphone as well, we could all end up on the bad side of the internet, whether it is being memed, made fun of, or doxxed. This leads to my next point about surveillance. Because we all have the ability to record or be recorded, we become more comfortable with being surveilled in general. 20 years ago, your work and your personal life were two completely different things. Nowadays, employers look to potential applicants' social media, and if they don't like the behavior shown, they don't hire them, even though the behavior outside of work doesn't reflect their behavior at work. We could even start talking about the police and how they use social media. There have been cases where the police were able to use others' digital vigilantism to make arrests, to gather evidence, and ask the community for help. Even on cop shows like ABC's High Potential have covered topics like topics in the realm of digital vigilantism, such as doxing and the impact of deepfakes. Digital vigilantism is truly a fascinating topic, from the general of how it started and its prevalence to the specific of doxing and police involvement. And I hope I get to cover this topic more, maybe digging deeper into the Gamergate scandal, or how cop shows portray the use of the internet within their plots. Please let me know if you want to hear about any of this or what you want to hear about, and I hope you all enjoy the rest of your day. And remember, we can't all be Batman.